Joining us as ever for another video. Thought I'd have a bit of a chat today on the report from The Athletic on the United all-staff meeting that was held by interim CEO Patrick Stewart. As ever, Reds, get involved in today's video because we will discuss some of your comments. First of all, though, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling fine. It's just news keeps coming in thick and fast, changing, transfers, everything else like that. But this news yesterday, I think it's big news, to be honest.
Yeah, the lads there from The Athletic, they seem to have the finger on the pulse more than other journalists, and they are sort of drip feeding bits of information coming out from INEOS, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, and what's going on behind the scenes. So I'm going to get stuck straight into this.
Yeah.
In the report, it says United held an all-staff meeting on Wednesday, led by interim Chief Executive Patrick Stewart, and informed employees that INEOS and the Glazer family have reflected on previously agreed arrangements and recognised the scope of the former's influence will need to be more broadly defined. Ratcliffe's team will also liaise with the Glazers on business decisions as they, by definition, will impact the potential of football operations. This will mean that the two ownership groups will need to align with one another on key decisions relating to the business, as dividing up affairs entirely is now felt to be unrealistic. Bit of a bedtime story there. If you're watching it late at night, hopefully I've not sent you to sleep.
No, you've not sent anyone to sleep with that, because first thing I'm going to point out is...
Well, you know, by the tone of your voice.
No, I look here.
We're back in the room.
No, we're back. I'm ready for this, because, that word reflected, what does that mean? Well, to me, since INEOS take it or leave it deal was put in on the 24th of December, Christmas Eve, I think it's the Glazers what have reflected. INEOS have gone at them. Listen, they pulled out the bag on Omar Berrada. I don't think the Glazers would have ever thought they could get someone of that calibre. They've just shown Glazers, this is what we can do. And I think it's the Glazers what have reflected and looked at their agreement and thought, we need to change this. We need to give them more rope, more work to do, and they're good at it, and they've shown it. And I think both sides, since that agreement was signed off by them both, I think they've gone at it. I think they've both gone at it, both sides, and said, this is what we can do. Yeah. And I think the conversation has been going on ever since, the turn of the new year. We want to do this, we want to do that. And I think the Glazers have looked at it and gone, well, we've never been capable of bringing anybody of that calibre into Manchester United. These have done it as soon as we've allowed them in. And it just shows you reflected, whatever it is, it's a stark realisation, I think, by the Glazers of the calibre of the people what are coming in, what they're capable of. Yeah. I think the Glazers have thought, these are good, these.
Yeah, with you mentioning Berrada coming in as the CEO as well, there's a little bit in the report that says those on the call were also again promised that cultural change across United. Stewart emphasised the club is now committed to instilling a football-first culture in which all decisions made by the club hierarchy should be focused on what's best for football. So I suppose that appointment of Berrada tells you that.
Yeah, well...
It is football first. He's got that background.
Well, it has to be football first. The money comes in. It's a second thing. Yeah. Obviously, we've got different departments at United dealing with different outlets, what United have got. I mean, they're split up into so many sections, it's unreal. But earning money, it's part and parcel of life, but it's what's reflected on the field. The money, yes, will roll in if there's success. We've seen that. But at the end of the day, it's the Glazers what have really just looked at the money. They were just quite happy to get in top four. That's not what the INEOS group are coming in for. It's football first, and that's what they're getting down to, and they're going to change everything. And the Glazers have looked at everything they've done, and like they say, they've reflected. I think what they've done, they've just handed over the keys. That's what it looks like to me for INEOS to come up with all the off-field and on-field negotiations and the targets, and to instill this is what it's about, football first, and we're capable of doing off-field because we brought in the right man, and that's the first one they brought in. So the Glazers are over the moon as far as I'm concerned.
Seems to be a bit of anxiety among staff as well, that there might be a little bit of a culling here, which you've called for before. INEOS need to be ruthless in certain departments, getting rid of people. And it does say there, however, the tone of the call also conveyed that change is both necessary and coming. And this has triggered some anxiety following previous reports that Ratcliffe wanted a review of the club's staffing, an area that has long been considered by many in the industry as bloated. So there has got that feeling there among staff at Manchester United at some point people are going to get that curly finger into the office.
Well, people know there's a review going on about the staffing and everything in and around United, and that's just par for the course for any business. What comes in, they look at all aspects of it, yes, and people will be worried, but that's just life. Listen, the point was made clear, and the call also confirmed it by Stewart, that change is coming, and change means change, not, oh, well, maybe not. Change is coming, and these are going to get stuck straight into it and change everything about Manchester United. This is what INEOS are declaring. We're going to change everything. We're going to change it on the field, and we'll also now have an input off the field. And staffing levels, part and parcel of what goes on. And it is bloated, and there is a lot of people, and I've called for it, get rid of them because they're just not doing the job. You know, me talking about getting rid. Listen, it's easy. It's easy to look. No, it is. It's easy to look round and just say to yourself, well, what's wrong here? Well, what's wrong is me, anyone who's in charge of free kicks and all that at Old Trafford, they've got to go. And yes, I might be being a bit like over the top or whatever, pointing things out.
Harsh.
Right? A bit harsh, right? But at the end of the day,
I think it's spot on, to be fair, with the free kicks, because we just don't do anything from free kicks, set pieces.
I'm not trying to diminish the severity of what's going on with people's lives and all that, losing jobs and all that, right? But the reality is, like, if you look on field, right, what's going on there, and people like your free kick specialists and all that, not doing the job, are they? Well, if you're not doing your job, you're out. And that's the end of it. And that's what INEOS will be doing. So at the end of the day, changes are coming, and they're going to be big changes.
Just going back onto the start of that report, is it a positive for you that, you know, the first signs of like a working relationship between Sir Jim Ratcliffe and the Glazers look positive already, with some of that scope being given up from the Glazers and given to Sir Jim Ratcliffe in terms of like the commercial part?
The way it came out yesterday and what you've read there, they seem to be talking, and I think the Glazers seem to like look at it and think, well, hang on, you know, we've not done the best job putting people in place, and we are the Manchester United as a business is bloated with employees, and things haven't gone right, and they're looking at it and thinking, well, these people know what they're doing. They're in sports already. They're in businesses throughout the world, and they are successful. So he's looked at them and listened to him, and he's listened to him since the beginning of January. And I don't think for him to change the mind is massive, but also they're not daft, and it also puts them further back where they can just sort of like give the nod when things need to be done, because at the end of the day, they have to look at themselves, and I do believe that they will have looked at themselves in their appointments, in people like Woodward and all that. And like I say, the startling reality to him would have been Omar Berrada's appointment, right out the blue.
I still don't think we'd have got that appointment without INEOS or Sir Jim Ratcliffe involved. Brailsford, sorry.
No.
The Glazers wouldn't have been able to do that on their own.
No, I don't think the Glazers have done it, but, you know, time might prove me wrong. You know, little things are coming out like this now. At the end of the day, is it just INEOS? Did the Glazers have any dealings with it?
No, it was actually Brailsford and Ratcliffe. They had a meeting together with Berrada in December. And then after that first meeting, then they had a bit of a group meeting with the Glazers involved, from what I've read in reports as well. Yeah,
well, not all reports can be true, but I'm just never going to take anything as gospel.
Yeah.
Yes, it sounds plausible, it's right. I don't believe personally, right, the Glazers were involved, and I think that's what's changed their mind.
Yeah.
They've looked at INEOS completely different. They were ruthless turning round to the Glazers and saying, take it or leave it, or we're walking away.
Yeah.
And I thought the other day from the reports, what I've been discussing over the last month, is they might be a little bit peeved at the way INEOS forced their hand, but I think they might have changed their mind now, and to give them more rope to do other things than what was agreed, it's a massive thing. The call, you know, change is coming, massive changes. The problem is, will the fans accept that? because in my view, I know what changes are needed. But the thing is, I look at it and I think the fans won't accept what's coming.
Yeah, I'm just going to go on to another little piece. We were just talking about Berrada. It says in the Athletic as well that the staff took the opportunity to ask Stewart about the period in Berrada's history relating to Manchester City and also Barcelona in the past. And Stewart assured staff that United had performed the adequate due diligence, but did not go into any great detail other than to say United are confident in the integrity and quality of their hire, meaning Berrada.
Yeah, well, the integrity word is the one I think everyone's looking at. Is there any comeback for any misdemeanors Barcelona have committed in the past, and certainly Manchester City with 115 charges. So they've done the due diligence. And to be honest, the way INEOS have conducted themselves at the moment, from what I'm seeing, I think that due diligence would have been spot on. So I don't think we've got any worries what can come back to United regarding Berrada and anything Manchester City have done. So that's good. And to be honest with you, that was a good question, what was asked Stewart. So fair play.
Yeah, I definitely think it was INEOS, Ratcliffe, etc. Their guys would have done all the background checks, the due diligence on Berrada, more so than, let's say, Patrick Stewart and the staff currently inside Manchester United. Yeah,
this isn't just happened Berrada. Berrada had put it out there in May that there was a possibility of him moving on. So it's not been done in a rush. So that's a good thing. So the due diligence will have been done over time and all the conversations. But like, I've got to go back to the fans, you know, changes coming, massive changes. Will the fans accept it? Well, at the end of the day, I see the changes, what need to be made, full clear out of the team. That's the start. That's what I'm concentrating on. Players there, been there too long. Players not good enough. So it's going to decimate what we see in the squad now. And to bring in players is going to take time. Bring in the right players, develop players and all that. We could be looking here at couple of years before anything, but what you've got in the couple of years is carnage.
Yeah,
that's how I see it.
Yeah,
poor results on the pitch. We're seeing that now. Mid-table. That's what I've called Man United this season. That's what we look like, mid-table. Are fans going to accept that? Will they have the patience? Will they have the patience to wait 2 years, maybe even longer? It doesn't matter how good you are off the field, working with players, working with businesses and all that. This is football. It's totally different. Injuries can always upset you like it's upset us this year. So at the end of the day, getting the right players, doing the due diligence on players, because we've not done that before. So I expect INEOS to be doing their due diligence on any player they bring in. Never mind if it's like a 13-year-old kid to bring into the youth side, right up to like top-tier player. Due diligence has not been done by the people in charge, and them people in charge have been the Glazer people. They're all going to go, as far as I'm concerned, right? But accepting what we would call mediocrity, because that's what's coming. Because you can't get instant results. It's football. There's teams way above us, right, who have perfected what's needed and got the right people in place. And we haven't. We've only brought in one player, one person, Berrada. And at the end of the day, we need lots of players. And for it to turn around on the football field, I think you're just going to see carnage, poor performances, poor results, and only time will tell when it gets right. If it gets right, and the pressure is clearly now.
The pressure is on Sir Jim Ratcliffe and INEOS and everyone else he brings in, especially, to get it right on the football pitch first of all, not the commercial side, because we've seen the results just come out early today, actually, from the revenue generated from 22-23 season, and United come fifth.
Yeah.
And you look at it when they last won the league, what was it, 10 years ago? If you go back to last season, the Champions League, what was that, 15 years ago? So we're still generating that much revenue. We've come fifth. Real Madrid are obviously first. I think it was City, PSG, and Barcelona, then United in fifth. So we've still got some pulling power off the field as well. So if we can get that right on the field, it'll be an absolute juggernaut, won't it? But people out there will say it's more cash in the Glazers' pockets.
Yeah, it will be. Listen, it's a cash cow here. It's just, it prints money if you get the things right. Things have been okay to generate the cash, Okay, I'm not saying as a football fan it's been okay. I'm just saying it's been okay to generate the cash, right? But the thing is, on the football field, you get that right, then that all comes in. But, you know, as a football fan, it's all about on the pitch. And what's happened here is INEOS have actually given themselves more power and more influence over the Glazers, regardless of the share, who's got what. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's a big call here now on INEOS to get it right. And I go back to what I'm struggling with here and worrying is, can the fans cope with it? I know this chaos. You just mentioned, like, when did we last win the league? When did we last win the Champions League and things like that? And to be honest, it's fading in my memory bank, where I can sort of reflect on it double quick.
Yeah, I had to think of dates there. I'm not too good with my maths.
Yeah, your dates might even be wrong or whatever, but at the end of the day, it just shows you, you're young, a lot younger than me, obviously. I'm your dad, right? Yeah. But at the end of the day, from my reflection of it, my memory's fading. Yeah. You know, time's passing on, time's moving on here. And the patience of a lot of fans is completely wearing thin. They're just pulling their hair out. A lot of them are pulling their hair out and shouting off and all that, because that's who they are, and it suits their agenda. But at the end of the day, I worry that time's passing here, and can fans really hold on in there and accept what's coming?
Patience, you mean?
Patience. But the thing is, we know the pressure will be on, because the media and everyone involved in it will not allow that. Yeah. Will pick on everything. The question is, can the fans just sit back and just go with it, right? And then hope in 2-3 years they can see optimism where we can challenge City and all that. You can't realistically accept somebody coming in, taking over the football side of it, the commercial side of it, and expect to catch up like that. It don't work. It's a pretty world if you think that.
It's like with most things though in life, you know, if things aren't going right, there's always a fall guy, let's face it. But you've got INEOS involved, so Jim Ratcliffe now. So, you know, if things aren't going right, like you said, there's chaos on the pitch. You know, we're going further down than what we are at the moment to go back up.
Yeah.
Who's the fall guy? Is it the manager? Is it INEOS, Sir Jim Ratcliffe? The people they've brought in who they've hired? You know, the Glazers are still there. You know, there's different people out there as fans who are going to be targeting as the fall guy, or the people who aren't doing the jobs properly.
It might not be a case of who's the fall guy at the moment. It might be a case of, let's change the guards. Let's get everyone out, bring in new people, instead of like going through 6 months, 12 months, 18 months of turning around and going, oh, right, you're sacked, you're out of here, you're to blame for that, you're to blame for that. No, just get them out. Yeah. If INEOS believe, right, that the right people aren't in place by the summer, all out and bring in. They've worked well, bringing Omar Berrada in, right? They will have thoughts of who to bring in, and that includes the manager. So change is coming, massive change. Patrick Stewart said it, all the staff know it. That means the players know it.
Well, they're the first ones for me. A lot of them have got to go. We've got to get the right people in the background. We've still got to get a class sporting director, in my eyes, to come in and work alongside Ten Hag and the rest of the staff. But a lot of these players need to be looked at, shifted out, get the right recruitment in, and then look from there. And let's hope that we can just go in that trajectory instead of, like, you know, flatlining or going down, because then we don't need to look at, you know, a fall guy or start, you know, arguing amongst ourselves as fans of like, oh, you're on his side or you're on that side. You know, let's all be as one, and let's back the team, back the club, and go forward.
Fans will never be as one, but that's another story I'll go into another day. Listen, at the end of the day, right, the Glazers have reflected on it, and INEOS are saying, we're looking at every department and we're going to deal with it. And they will deal with it. They will be ruthless. Anybody who's coming in, it's not just INEOS. If anyone else would have come in, they would have just done it exactly the same. Looked at every department, who's failing, where, when, change.
Okay, I've got to go into the chat. Zayn Miase, cheers for your super chat, my mate. He says, why did United waste $250 million on Maguire, Antony, Pogba, etc., when they could have just used that money to hire the best directors of football, etc.?
Everyone makes mistakes with money. You being an Arsenal fan should know that. Look at Havertz. You know, every man and his dog said Havertz is rubbish. Listen, people waste money. All clubs waste money. Yeah. It happens. People make mistakes. You buy players. You think this is going to happen, and it doesn't turn out. It's just...
All managers have done it. Even the best managers.
All managers, all clubs have done it. Yeah,
yeah, of course. You know, Arsenal. When you're talking about them, Pepe, I think they signed in for about £70-odd million, didn't they? Yeah.
Well, you know, we could give you a full list.
Yeah.
So back off on it.
Yeah. So, what do you think this transfer window at the moment? Do you think we're going to get anyone in late? There's news today I've seen on Callum Wilson from Newcastle that he's available, but I can't see that.
To be honest with you,
getting any traction, surely.
To be honest with you, on the transfer thing, I go back to my original thinking and conversations what I've had with you. I don't think anyone's coming in. I don't think they want to, INEOS want to spend any money. They don't want to be dealing with someone short term or anything like that. And I think they're telling the manager, you've got what you've got, deal with it. You're a coach. You've come from Ajax. You're highly thought of. Now show us. Simple as. And I also think what they're doing is they're slimlining the squad and everything else because you know, they've been in Old Trafford. They were in it last year. They've been round Carrington loads of times. They know what's going on. They know it's a bloated squad. They know it's a bloated club. And they're just slimlining it. They're not adding. They're not wasting money, you know.
Just going to go into the chat. Interesting comment here. What I get your thoughts on out there as well. From Curlers, he says, fans won't accept INEOS if there is a slow drip feed of cash. We want to see action, not just talk. It's okay to sack and replace staff, but it's all, wait, let me get back here. It's all right to sack and replace staff, but it will all be about money spent for fans. Sorry, I've got a double word in there, sorry.
It's all about...
It's a good question.
You answer it then. You answer it. You looked at it.
Well, the thing is, fans won't accept in the office if there's a slow drip of cash. I can get that because we're going to need to spend a lot of cash. So look at the gap between us, Manchester City, Liverpool. You know, if we don't spend cash, Arsenal will go way in front of us as well because all these teams each year are going to only get stronger and stronger because they're spending cash. But there's also a lot of them now who are wary of the FFP. I'm sure a lot of them would have looked at Everton, look at the sanctions that they got given with the points deductions, etc. So I think there will be a bit of a streamline of cash and money spent on big transfers, but I think the cash will begin and spent on recruitment. You know, the scouting departments, etc., the facilities, making sure they bring in the best of the young talent in to then develop themselves. Because then if they do sell them on...
Spending cash, if you've got it, fine. But I don't see INEOS coming straight in and spending cash willy-nilly. Cash has been spent here willy-nilly, overinflated prices, overinflated wages. I think they're just going to just knuckle down and work out what's needed for the long term. I don't think this short-termism of spending big money on players and big contracts is going to continue, and you're going to have to suck it up. Like I've said to you, will fans accept the changes? Will they accept mediocrity? Will they accept being a mid-table side? Will they accept all the changes? I don't believe they will, but I do. And that's the difference. I do. So we're always going to have conflict, right, with fans because I can see what needs to be done. Will it be done in the right time frame? Will it be done the right way? I don't know. But I know everything needs to change. And I have said it constantly for a long time. Massive clear out. And what comes, comes. And you can't go picking the best of this, the best of that, and hoping for this, and then moaning about it. We've moaned and we've groaned about the Glazers being in charge, and everything they've done in every department is poor and it's not productive enough, okay? It needs to change. And if they've got the power, INEOS, to make the changes, then do it. Yeah. Simple as. Because the people who are in charge, and I think we all agree on this, are not good enough. Well, it takes time to get them out, turn it round, and then have what we want to see, a successful side. So you either accept it or just wake up every morning, right, banging your pillow with your head, saying, I'm not having this, I can't accept this. You're going to have to accept it because you're the ones what want change along with me. That's how I see it.
Yeah, Curly's, you got another chat in there, mate. I'm going to read another one out because I started talking Spanish at the end of the first one. And he says, I don't see Eric Ten Hag lasting. If they don't back him, he's a dead man walking otherwise. What's your thoughts on that? Actually, before your thoughts, I want your thoughts out there. What's your realistic expectations for Manchester United this season in terms of a Premier League finish? But your thoughts on that question first.
What was it?
I don't see Eric Ten Hag lasting. If they don't back him, he's a dead man walking.
I don't see Eric Ten Hag lasting on the basis INEOS want change and they want to bring in their own man and they want to change everything up. Managers don't survive when you see somebody coming into a football club like this or any business. Change has to be done. Change is coming. That point was made clear. And the manager, I fear for him. I fear for the manager. Lots of pundits out there fear for the manager. No, I'm not calling for the manager to be sacked. I don't want that. But at the end of the day, I have to accept what comes in and hope that all the change what's coming turns my football club round. Because what direction are we going in? We're not in a direction. Manchester United have no clear direction under the leadership of the Glazers. And INEOS have forced the Glazers, right, to see sense, and they've reflected that here you are, INEOS. You seem to know what you're doing. You seem to be better than us. We've not succeeded. We've got bad decisions. You seem to have the right ideas. Away you go. And we've just got to wait and see. I have to accept what's coming.
Yeah, Wesley says we don't need a new ground. More leg room would suffice. I totally agree with that, mate.
Yeah, more leg room. Do you know what I mean? My God. Yeah, more leg room. As you get older and that, you get stiff quicker. But hey, no, a new ground.
Yeah.
No, not for me. Not for me. I don't want a new ground. Extended, more facilities in there, a little bit more room. Fine. That's it. Not a new ground.
Yeah, a lot of people getting the thoughts in on where Manchester United will finish this season. Some are saying 6th, 7th place. Do you think that's realistic? What's your thoughts on that?
Listen, I was saying, I actually believe. Listen, I go on what I've seen. It's as simple as that. I'm going off what I've seen, and have I seen United win 3 Premier League games on the trot? I haven't. Not seen it. See, the question is, right? Right, you should have been able to answer that straight away.
Yeah.
In other words, it's a long time.
Yeah,
it's a long time. You're not going to get 3 Premier League wins on the trot. We've not seen it.
October?
It's not. It might have even been longer. But the thing is, right? What you see on the field, you never know what you're going to get. I believe anywhere 10th to 5th is a possibility. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're getting. And I think anyone who nails their hat on to a position, we are poor, and then again, we can turn it on. So we can be anywhere, but what we are is a mediocre side, right? Mid-table. That's how I see it.
Would you say we're mediocre, though, with some of the players who we've got to return, like your Casemiro, your Martinez, Luke Shaw, Mason Mount to add in there as well, Harry Maguire as well, playing well start of the season?
I look at it this way, at that question. I look at the question is, change is coming. Are these players here long-term good enough to take Manchester United forward? That's what I'm judging these players now in this squad on, because at the end of the day, INEOS are going to change the players, the squad, get rid of people, bring people in over time. These players here now, doesn't matter for a few games, will they change it? Not interested in the short term. I am interested, I don't mean it that way, but what I'm interested in is the long term. These players, long term, are not good enough at Manchester United and just have not got it, a hell of a lot of them.
Yeah, Richie says Old Trafford is iconic. Improvement and upgrades are essential, but not a new stadium. And that's the feeling I've got from a lot of fans that I speak to, and a lot of people have said in the comments as well.
There's no need to have a new stadium. There's no need. This stadium is good enough. It just needs upgrading.
Yeah.
You know, other big clubs around Europe have upgraded their stadiums recently. They've not knocked it down and rebuilt. There's no need. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. This just needs a proper upgrade. The investment, the money into upgrading has just not been there from the Glazers. They've spent no money anywhere. And at the end of the day, what I would do, I would get an apprenticeship as a painter because you've got a long time working here. That's how I'd look at it. If I was a young lad now, I'd just go and get an apprenticeship as a painter with some company.
Yeah.
Because you're working here for years.
Yeah, bang your CV in there.
Just get it in.
Well, we've seen him doing it last season, didn't we? Or before last season at the front.
Yeah, well,
you know. Ferguson stand. Brian says, I think finishing 6th is realistic this season. I hate making 6th the goal, but this season has been abysmal. I totally get your thought and your tone behind that, mate.
It's realistic, but I think the person asking the question isn't confident. No. There's no way is he confident.
No.
Realistic or whatever. I don't think any United fan can be confident. I don't think when you look at the players, the manager, when you look at pundits, on TV, on the radio, or anywhere, no one.
But the manager's
one's confident. The manager's not confident.
Yeah, but the manager's put all his eggs in one basket in previous press conferences over the last few weeks, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Saying that results will improve once he gets his first choice 11 back.
That's because
I'm not even sure what his best first choice 11 is. Does he even know it?
He's put all his eggs in one basket by claiming the players, when they come back from injuries, we'll see a different Man United. And the reason why he said that is because he said everything else. And look what we've got.
Is at the bottom of the barrel?
Is at the bottom of the barrel. The confidence has gone. I've seen that. You and I have seen that. So at the end of the day, this is to me, his sort of last shout. Bring the players back. And I think the players coming back will make a change.
I do think Eric Ten Hag gets Manchester United, though. He gets the standards and where the club's at currently and where it needs to be. And he's trying to change it since he's come in, to trying to get certain players out, change that word, the culture inside the dressing room. And I think he's doing a good job there. It's just whether he can go up that next level to take Man United forward on the pitch, which, question marks for me at the moment.
There's a big question mark because at the end of the day, it's all over. Well, what is it we're producing on the pitch? What type of side are we?
Yeah.
Right? That's the question mark now. He's had long enough, and I can't tell you from game to game exactly what's coming out on the pitch, what tactics. I don't see them on a regular basis. That's why I asked that question before. When was the last time Man United won 3 games? You don't know what you're getting. So you don't know what you're getting from tactics and style from game to game. And that's the one thing I can criticise Eric Ten Hag at, that he's not produced that. And I think INEOS and Sir Jim Ratcliffe will look at that. They might throw it straight away and say, we don't see anything. We need someone in now. They might see it and just hope, like we hope, that when the players do come back, he can turn it round. Eric Ten Hag then can get on with doing what he's supposed to do, get a style of play, get a proper team out there. But at the end of the day, I don't see it at this moment.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping it works with the players coming back. I'll have a bit more confidence. But the full reality of everything what's just gone on, this conversation, I see it this way. Okay? Big changes are coming. And they're needed. But will Man United fans accept that?
Yeah.
And it's not for 12 months, 18 months. I keep telling you, and you have to understand, this could go on for years. Yes, we're all disappointed.
Well, if you look at Nice with Sir Jim Ratcliffe, is 5 years ago he took over it? I think this season they're in second place in their league. But if you look at the seasons before that, it's just mediocrity, really, of what they've been producing season on season. I think he's had actually 6 managers in total since he took over. I think one of them was Christophe Galtier, who went to PSG, so he had to make that change. But it just shows you it's not a quick fix, this, and it won't be definitely a quick fix,
No, it's not. It's not a quick fix. We know that. But when you compare Nice to Man United, it's like comparing apples to oranges.
No, of course, but just to get things in place, like he's trying to do at Nice. You'd have thought it'd be a lot easier to do at Nice to get things to turn around in the so-called Farmers League.
If you jump in with the money and the experience, and I think INEOS will have learnt a lot from Nice.
Yeah.
So hopefully it calms down and they do the right things.
Yeah, totally get that. I'm just going to dive into the chat. David Saunders says, new stadium with bigger capacity and the latest catering facilities will generate more money. Hopefully that food hygiene rating goes up with that as well, because that's a joke. Richard James will finish 4th. Eric will you're showing the door, I think you meant, mate. We've also got a super chat from Zamiasa. If they get rid of Ten Hag, who do you want United to take? Would you take Jose as he has unfinished business? Me straight away, no Mourinho back for me.
Well, listen, we know Mourinho. Forget that. So who would have taken? I don't know. And, you know, I've looked at it for 12 months and lots of United fans there have called for Eric Ten Hag to be had. But no one's come back. No one's come back on here on a regular basis saying, this is the man to replace Eric Ten Hag. All these on social media, all these people showing on YouTube channels and all screaming for Eric Ten Hag, the media, everything, get out the club, get out. No one's coming. Nobody. I don't see it. And unless you tell me, I don't see anybody putting in a CV for a manager to come in here at Manchester United, what can replace Eric Ten Hag. I have not got a clue. But why would I want to scream to get Eric Ten Hag out when I haven't got the answer? I haven't got the answer. Unless you've got the answer, then really we have to just deal with what we've got and hope things turn round. If I had the answer, I'd scream it and say Eric Ten Hag out because this manager, we get him in, he can do this, do that, do that. I don't think there is an answer out there.
No, I still think he's the man for the job currently anyway, especially in the short term.
Currently.
In what he's been doing,
yeah.
Like we just said before, and changing things around. You know, showing us these players who have just been lazy ever since they've come here, just picking up the wages, etc. But again, I've just got question marks on if he can take us that next level on the pitch, compete with the likes of Pep Guardiola, Klopp, long term.
No one can compete, right, with Pep Guardiola and Man City at this moment in time until you've got everything aligned in the background. No one else has. The only ones at the moment what are capable of challenging is maybe Liverpool. I don't think Arsenal are capable. I don't think they've got it right in the back. Certainly Newcastle haven't got it right in the back. Tottenham are improving. But how do you get to City standards? Well, everything in the background's got to be right. Well, we're not right in the background, nor are Liverpool. So this will take ages. And at the end of the day, who's going to replace Eric Ten Hag? That's the thing. Nail your hat onto that one, will you?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
Really
I don't know.
Because if they talk about standards, best in class, you've then got to go for proven managers then, surely, who have actually won titles, maybe Champions Leagues. You know, if you're going along that level, you know, I'll throw a name out, Thomas Tuchel. I've always liked Tuchel. People out there might not fancy him. You know, they're looking at the performances in the Bundesliga this season, but I think we should have got Tuchel way before Solskjaer, to be honest with you. Well, you know, if you're looking at Real Madrid, is Ancelotti available at some point? Them type of managers? Or do you come for an up-and-coming manager? You know, look at the lad from, is it Girona, over in the Spanish league? You know, he's getting touted about.
I look at it this way. What we have to do is wait and see what INEOS come out with, what their preference is to keep Eric Ten Hag, and if their preference is at some point to move him on, which is what I expect INEOS to do, they then will come out, well, they should come out soon with who they want and who they're looking at, and he has to be the right fit. Will he be the right fit for me? I don't know, but it's only opinions. That's what we give here. We give our opinions on players, managers, INEOS, and anything, okay? Doesn't say we're right, just like when you give your opinions. Doesn't say you're right, but that's what we're here for, as a discussion with yous out there. And we will always give our opinions.
Yeah, right or wrong. That's what it's all about.
Right or wrong.
So I'm going to end on that. Just get your own thought. Well, first of all, just like to thank everyone for getting involved in the chat, because there's been a load of different opinions in there today, and everyone seems to have got on together, which is always great. If you want to continue the conversation, get involved in the chat in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed today's video, please smash a like on it, help support the channel. And we'll be back tomorrow with another video. Enjoy your day, everyone. Thank you.
Brilliant day. Thank you.